First, could I get a motion to allow Member Daly to participate via the phone? Member Williams and Member Wicker, all those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Please talk into the microphone, everybody, so I can hear.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you, but yesterday I couldn't hear anyone who wasn't speaking into their microphone.
Okay. Member Daly has asked us all to speak into our microphones. There. Okay. Looks like, do we really have 5 minutes that we need to cover? We do? Okay. So we have 5 sets of minutes, January 23rd, February 8th, July 11th, August 27th, and September 12th to approve. Are there any changes or updates to those? Well, would you like to make a motion for me? Thank you. Can I get a second? Okay. Member Blair is the second. Any updates or changes? All right, all those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Next, we'll move on to informational items, and first we have the Board of Health.
Good afternoon. Member Daly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Perfect. Wanted to give an update in terms of the Board of Health, but I'll actually start with an update regarding cure violence. So where we are currently at since the board decision to close or terminate our cure violence program, we have completed all of our contract cancellations, not only with Cure Violence Global for their training and technical assistance, but also with the city of Peoria for the 2 grants we received with them. We are currently working through our 3rd funding stream, which is Senate discretionary funding, to understand potential pivot points we may be able to use with the funds that were allocated for the program originally. In terms of staffing, we've completed all of our staffing notifications and transitioned all of that back to baseline. We are maintaining, though, our program manager role at minimum until November 1st, just to help with the closeout of the Cure Violence program. And then fiscally, we've been working with our sub-grantee and their fiscal agent to receive all final documentation. They were to turn it in on September 16th, which they have done. We have done our primary review of them, asked for additional documentation, and that's what we're waiting for. We had a Teams call with them just yesterday to walk through what additional information we needed for us to finalize that process. Once we've finalized that, we will be providing them with an invoice for any return funds that are available. So that will close out our Cure Violence program. Additionally, in regards to the health department, 3 other items that we have is we are continuing to do and collect our community needs assessment survey or community survey. It is closing out at the end of this month. Our goal is to receive about 250 to 300 surveys per region in our area. We've actually did a great job on our northern part of our county, the Peoria area, as well as the Bartonville and kind of our southwest side. Where we are needing some help is really around our western side of our county, the 2 regions. Population density is low, and so we know we're asking for a lot, but we are hoping to get a better understanding of the data and their health needs from that. Our Board of Health is going through their strategic planning process right now. We had our first retreat a few weeks ago. We will have a follow-up in October. They've interviewed over 30 key informants, conducted our climate survey with our staff, and are right now working through analyzing all of our data points, whether it's our previous strategic plan, our community health needs assessment improvement plan, as well as our performance management plan. So we hope to have a good starting point to help us gear up for our next cycle of our strategic plan. And then lastly, this will be coming to you either at the next health committee or the following one in November. But in 2024, the state actually adopted part of the FDA food code that was from 2022. The county as well as the Board of Health had already made some adoptions in our language for our food safety ordinance, but we need to kind of update for consistency and to reflect the changes that were updated that the state had also approved from the FDA code. So the revisions will be impacting our Illinois Food Code risk category definitions, latex glove ban act, allergen notification, and the default beverage for children's meals requirements on inspection reports. And we've been working with the state's attorney's office to get a red line version for you. And so we hope to get that at the health committee next month. And then from there, being able to take it to full board approval and have it go effective January 1st. We've already started the education process, and two of our board members are food establishment owners, and they've also been part of this conversation, and both of them see many of this to be just minor adjustments to the code. More than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Monica? Okay, thank you. Care and treatment is next. I think we have everybody. The report is in the packet. EMA.
All right, good afternoon. So you should have a copy of my September report. And as I kind of said, it maybe looks like we're not doing much because this report keeps getting smaller and smaller. So that's a positive thing in some regards because we are kind of back into a lot of just planning activities. You'll see we didn't have any significant events, so I often tell people sometimes some of the work that we do in preparedness, we hope we never have to use. I have this conversation a lot with GIS folks, actually. The GIS team here at the county has been really big in helping us put together some things for damage assessment and a few other activities. And they're like, hey, have you used what we put together yet? And I'm like, no, we haven't had anything bad happen. So we kind of get accustomed to that in emergency preparedness. But you'll see our meeting attendance, kind of just our standard meetings. One of the cool things I wanted to point out was though in the exercise section, we participated with Peoria InfraGard. If you're not familiar with InfraGard, it's a collaboration with the FBI and our cybersecurity experts in either government, non-governmental, private sector. And we recently participated in what they called a cyber game where we got together as a large group at Pearl Technology and had some attack happen to us here at the county, and we worked through what ways we could ensure that we could continue to provide essential services, not just at the county level, but again, many of our private sector partners. With the equipment, outdoor warning siren network or our system continues. We have a few sirens that need some speakers. We're just kind of waiting for speakers in, so continue to see a supply chain hiccup with that. And we've additionally started some preliminary discussions on what technology is out there with regards to notification and outdoor warning sirens and what we may be wanting to look forward to as we begin to move into the future and different ways of notifying the public regarding not only severe weather but other activities. So, and then to conclude, I had the opportunity to participate with the FDA, presented at their annual food conference. I think it was last week or the week before in Chicago up in Rosemont, and just did the presentation that we give a lot here locally called the Wisdom of Preparedness, really just trying to encourage people to get prepared as September's National Preparedness Month. So also wanted to thank the board for recognizing that as the board member earlier this month. We appreciate all the support you give us, the Emergency Management Agency, recognizing that without your support, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of things we're able to do. So thank you. Any questions for me, Rob?
Thanks. Does somebody have any questions for Jason? Member Daly?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Next is the Regional Office of Education.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have just a couple updates, and then I'll explain why. I have my colleague Kara Pence joining me. First of all, it's audit season at the ROE, so if you see a bunch of people in our back offices, that's because they are going through line by line, checking the books and checking them twice. So we are very busy over there for our audit season. My updates are, first of all, we have a new intergovernmental agreement with the Illinois State Board of Education to provide math coaching throughout all of Peoria County for free. Peoria Public Schools is taking us up on that for some of their most at-risk schools, as are some of our county schools. And then now we've been asked to provide literacy coaching, and we're trying to figure out how we can make that happen. There's a lot of need for continuous improvement, how school districts can take their data and align their strategies and tactics to attack those numbers. And so we're trying to meet that need. So there's lots of meetings and conversations going on about that here at the ROE. And the only other update I wanted to share is it was an honor to be at the ribbon cutting of Trillium. If you don't know, the Regional Office of Education provides the teacher for the floor for adolescents that are experiencing inpatient mental health treatment. So we provide that teacher to that floor, and she's busily packing up her classroom to move that over there. And there's a lot of opportunity because, as you know, your high school, Peoria Regional Learning Center, is across the street. So I brought that to Keith Knepp's attention. I mean, when I had the opportunity in a casual conversation to say, hey, what kind of opportunities could we do as like a step down program here? If students need something that's kind of the go-between before going back to Richwoods, maybe we could provide something that's a little smaller and get them ready to go back to their home high school. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and we're very excited for that. So Kara Pence, she's our director of Project Start and is one of our leads as the truancy team. And so I've asked her every month to put this meeting on her calendar to make sure we're sharing some data with you. If you want to hear something different, if you want it framed in a different way, please let me know. But as we enter into this partnership together, I want you to hear what we're doing and how it's going.
Hello. First off, thank you. We are super excited to add to our team and be able to provide more services to our community, our educators, and our students and families. Currently, with the 3 team members that we have done approximately 184 school visits, 79 student and family contacts, and 191 home visits. And that does not include some of the informal visits that we have conducted on behalf of the schools without an official referral. We do have 32 official referrals right now. Of those official referrals, we have 9 students that we've been working with for 2 or more weeks, and 8 of those 9 students have increased their attendance over those 2 or more weeks. And I also wanted to share with you a success story. This comes from one of our county schools. This student has been struggling with attendance since 5th grade. They've never had attendance above 83% since 5th grade. They're an 8th grader now. And actually their lowest year of 6th grade, they were at 66% attendance in 6th grade. So this year they were trying to address the attendance early. So we had an initial meeting on September 3rd, and the student's attendance was at 31%. So we met with the student, we met with the mom, it was myself and our student support specialist, Angelo. And we just kind of discussed, came up with a plan. When we talked to mom, she said that the student purposefully would not get ready, make excuses, throw fits to miss school. Mom didn't want to fight with her because she didn't want to miss work. So she works 2 jobs and she can't afford to miss work. So she had to go to work. So she just left the daughter at home. And so that was kind of where we were at. The daughter did have some mental health issues. One of the things she really liked to do was horse therapy, but mom said she couldn't afford horse therapy. So Angelo worked with the student to create an incentive plan in the school. I worked with mom, found some horse therapy that she could afford. And going forward, They have like a scholarship plan, so it's only going to be $6 for the family. Mom can afford that. So since September 3rd, she has not missed a day of school. So we went from 31% to 100%. Also, on our first goal was to do 10 days straight of perfect attendance. So when she did that, Angelo and I stopped in, you know, gave her kudos, took her some candy. He gave her a gift card. And we also learned, which I think this is the best part of all of it, is that she had previously been doing some self-harming things, and she has also stopped doing those since attending school and getting some more support at school. So we are very proud of our efforts and we feel good about them, and we appreciate you guys supporting them. So thank you very much.
Please let us know if there's anything more specific that you would like to hear, specific numbers, if you want it by school, if you want it by areas, whatever you want, we will put the data in the format that you need. But we wanted you to hear that specific story because the school district does not have the ability to go that deep with a family and provide the wraparound services, and that's the role and the service that we are able to provide.
Thank you. Do you have an update on where we are with the new positions?
They all start Monday.
Wow, fantastic. That was fast. Fantastic.
We're excited.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you so much for all of that. It's great to know. Next, we have sustainability.
Good afternoon. I just have a couple quick updates to what you were provided. Electronics collections, we have 2 coming up in partnership with other townships. One is tomorrow with Limestone Township, and that's hosted at Kusakowski, and that's open to really anyone because we'll be doing it at a public location. So that's really open to anyone, but we do have 100 people that did sign up for appointments, so it's down from previous years. So pretty excited actually that is down from previous years and that they're actually using the permanent site, and we seem to have sort of met that threshold with Limestone Township and the targeted collections. We do have a targeted collection with Peoria Township on October 5th, and that is by appointment only, targeted to 61605, but opening it a bit if we need to the rest of Peoria Township or Peoria. If needed, and registration is available via the QR code that's on the website. It has been sent out to residents, as well as it's of course on our website, so people can just go in there and register. Additional items. Township Supervisors Group meets October 10th. So I just wanted to highlight that. Jason Marks will be the speaker. It's being hosted at Trivoli Township on Kramer Road in Trivoli. Regional Food Council, a couple updates there. October 4th is the next Regional Food Council meeting, and the focus is on waste recovery. Excited about that. And then also there is the Nutrition Summit. I saw flyers are out there for the Central Illinois Nutrition Summit on October 9th and 10th at the Spalding Center. Registration is requested, not required, but requested just to help in terms of planning for food. And then this month participated in a startup group of Community Kitchen Work Group, just sort of collaborating efforts to make sure that everybody's on the same page with environmental health, and then also in terms of promoting to make sure that residents are able to utilize community kitchens to do some value-added items with whatever they may be growing or making outside of their, to extend outside of their own kitchens. Sustainability, we did do a Green Crew event, very exciting, on Friday. 35 items were repaired here in the conference room. We did a Fix It Friday, so employees could bring in clothes that needed minor repairs, hemming, rips, tears, patches, that sort of thing. So that was a good service to the employees, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, next we are at a resolution for restated agreement of the Peoria County Landfill 3 and alternatives deferred from the special county health meeting. Could I get a motion to put that on the floor, please? Member Williams, and a second. Member Elsasser. Thank you. Okay, hi over there.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Different seat for me today. I'll regrettably, Mr. Chairman, I've got to leave exactly at 1:30. So if they're still debating, I apologize. I will get up and leave. But the item before you today is a resolution to approve the framework and the terms and conditions in a general sense for a restated landfill 3 agreement. If approved by the board, it also requires approval by the City Council and the Peoria City County Landfill Committee, of which Ms. Williams represents your interests on. We're here today because back in 2009, this board, the City Council, and the Landfill Committee awarded a contract to then Peoria Disposal Company to develop, construct, operate, manage the closure and post-closure care of landfill 3, and in all rights and aspects that should have been accepting waste roughly a decade ago, but due to compaction rate improvements and waste diversion strategies by Waste Management, who's the operator of landfill 2, that is not the case. Landfill 2 is actually still accepting waste. In 2022, the city and the county worked with then GFL, who's the successor to PDC, to try and negotiate this agreement that actually is before you, or something similar, very similar to what is before you today. At one point, those negotiations did break down, but we're back here today with the outcome of some renewed negotiations that occurred since we met and discussed this in detail back in April. I'll let Ms. Williams speak for herself when I'm done with my summary in terms of what this means to her and what it means to the Landfill Committee. But at a very high level, and it's, the terms and conditions are summarized in Attachment A to the resolution. Many, if not all, of the incentives and financial packages that were due to the county, the city, and the Landfill Committee at the time of Landfill 3 opening are being accelerated to either when Landfill 2 closes or when an alternative proposal of a transfer station to be constructed at GFL's facility in Pottstown would become operational. It also has additional financial incentives for the 3 bodies, the county, the city, and the Landfill Committee, to pursue the alternative solution path. And then lastly, at a very high level, it will have language that will ensure lines of communication that previously had broken down will remain open. Should the 3 bodies approve this resolution or the city's version of it, then the state's attorney's office, who represents both you and the Landfill Committee, and the city's corporation counsel will work with the legal team from GFL to actually finalize a full-blown restated agreement for Landfill 3. Once that's done and it is executed, it will completely replace the current Landfill 3 agreement. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd either be happy to answer any questions or ask Member Williams to share her thoughts as your representative on the Landfill Committee.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon, and then we'll ask if there's any questions.
So we had discussion a few months ago, and we had decided that we wanted them to build Landfill 3. However, the day after we had that discussion, we received a letter from IEPA saying that they were not going to unpause the permit. So at that time, we kind of knew that we needed to find a different plan moving forward. So I appreciate the work that we've done with Matt and GFL. I feel like this is a good agreement, so I'm asking for your support.
Are there any questions? Yes, Member Alsace.
Sharon, can you say that one more time about what you said about the IEPA?
So after we had made the decision that we wanted them to continue to pursue building landfill 3, literally the next day we received a letter from the IEPA stating that more work needed to be done with this potential mine that was there. So they said in that letter that they were not going to unpause, because it's on pause. They weren't going to unpause the permit. So that alone probably added another year onto when landfill 3 would open if we started construction. But construction can't start until they make sure that mine is not there.
About what year was it when that occurred with that letter from the IEPA?
It came the next day after we
But
had our...
no, about what year was that? About like a year, a couple years ago, or?
No, we just received the letter. Scott, when did we have that discussion? When we said...
Or this summer, so it's just been in the last several months.
Oh, just in the last several months.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we had the discussion on, I believe it was on a Thursday, and that letter came on Friday. So I think that really kind of changed our whole perspective, and we knew that we needed to figure something out. I mean, the garbage has got to go somewhere, so we needed to, figure this out. So several meetings, Scott, myself, Stephen Morris, the attorneys, and I really feel like it's a good agreement. And we've, as Scott said, we've opened up the lines of communication with GFL, which will continue.
Well, other than the landfill 2 being extended 10 years, what was the holdup between 2014 and now?
Well, the landfill 2 wasn't full.
Oh, so that was part
Yeah.
of when PDC
Right,
when PDC decided to do landfill 3. That was part of the agreement that they had to wait till landfill 2 was full, or
Right. So the current landfill agreement says that on the day landfill 2 closes, landfill 3 shall be operational. The construction of a landfill is a very expensive capital undertaking for that operator. PDC first, and then GFL took necessary steps to be prepared, but on an annual basis, Waste Management seemingly would move the goalpost and continue to extend the life, because the life of a landfill is based on the amount of airspace that the Illinois EPA has permitted it to have. And that number has not changed from what was originally permitted when landfill 2 opened in the 90s. But what has happened is Waste Management has improved its compaction ratings, so you can put more solid waste in the landfill, and they've also at times diverted waste to extend the life of the landfill. And that's because the landfill agreement between the city, the county, and the landfill committee and Waste Management is very financially lucrative for Waste Management. As an example, both agreements, landfill 2 and 3, require the city's hauling contract, because the city has a franchise agreement and procures those services, requires that all their municipal solid waste from that hauling contract go to the city-county landfill, whether it be number 2 or number 3. The savings to the city of Peoria and its residents when landfill 3 opens to what they're paying today is over $1 million a year.
So what happens if we get to 2027 and all of a sudden Waste Management says we have the ability to go another 10 years?
They do not. They at this point, by all measures from Waste Management, GFL, the landfill committee's consulting engineer, which is Foth Engineering, there's widespread agreement that there is less than 6 months of life in landfill 2 at this time.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah, they do a fly fly over and figure out how much airspace
Okay.
is still left. And at last meetings, I believe it was April of 2025 is when it will be full.
Wow, okay. Thank you for that explanation, both of you.
Any other questions? Yes, Member Hare.
Thank you. Two questions. One, when all these incentives come into the county coffers, where do they go and who can use them?
Great question, Mr. Hare. So they are going to be deposited into the Solid Waste Management Fund, which is a special revenue fund that is specifically set up for proceeds from any landfill activities. That fund is the source of revenue that funds the Sustainability and Resource Conservation Department. And those dollars can only be spent on certain things related to recycling education, in programs that are recommendations in the solid waste management plan that you've adopted. We've got probably an update coming in another 3 or 4 years from that. We just did an update a couple years ago. And then any other related programming that is somehow tied back to the source of funds, or in some cases, improving recycling rates and whatnot. Any of those types of programs that then would be administered by the Sustainability and Resource Conservation Department.
Excellent, thank you. My second question, has there been any consideration, or I have not heard the size of this transfer station and what the response from the surrounding area will be?
So the transfer station is actually already been through the siting process and approved, and that was done some time ago. It'll be located on GFL's now closed hazardous waste landfill that's technically above Pottstown. And I would say the opportunity for the neighbors to weigh in on that was at the point in time when this board previously had gone through the siting process and did end up granting siting approval for a transfer station at that location.
Thank you.
Yes, Member Williams.
I just want to add also that part of this agreement includes some lower prices for those that live in unincorporated Peoria County. So their rate is going to be a set rate, which will also include recycling, which at this point in time I do not have. And I live in unincorporated Peoria County. So my bill literally is going to go down about $30 a month.
Any other questions? I don't want to diminish any of the work that's been done by Member Williams and the committee at all, because they've done a lot of work on this. My level of comfort isn't there yet with the agreement for me to support this. I feel that there's a level of risk that we're assuming by delaying the build of Landfill 3. And in an effort to mitigate that, I'd ask for a provision to be put into the corporate guarantee that would help make the county whole should a triggering event happen. And the triggering event would allow for the permit to be transferred to us, the siting permit, which that is still in there. But in the newest version of the contract that came back, the provision that I had asked for had been removed. So my level of comfort isn't there yet with the agreement, so I won't be supporting this at this time. Yes.
I appreciate your comments. Can I ask our legal counsel how you feel about what he just said? I mean, I'm not trying to, say, well, this isn't right or wrong, but I just want to clarify it.
Right now, what the parties, what's in the agreement that is bullet pointed before you in Exhibit A is that there's a corporate guarantee from GFL, the parent company, to build Landfill 3 by 2035. So they are putting the parent global company's money behind the promise to construct the landfill. That is very helpful and makes the the contract more sound than when it was a contract only with a local company, you know, PDC at the time, and then when PDC was acquired by GFL. So that is a good safeguard to have that corporate guarantee in there, to have a large international company guaranteeing the construction of the landfill. And then the second part is the escrowing the permit. So the permit to construct and operate the landfill is going to be held in escrow, so that if there are these triggering events, we get to a point where relationships breaking down again, or if there's a bankruptcy or something like that, the permit would be automatically transferred to city county landfill committee, so that we could construct the landfill ourselves and not have to wait on litigation or fighting to get the permit out and operational. So those two things together is a good safeguard. I think that Member Renault is definitely hitting on a problem that you can't mitigate against all risk by this delay, the 10-year delay. I think, you know, everyone has the thought, are we going to be in the same place in 10 years? And that's what Member Renault was trying to mitigate with the additional language, is what if we're just here again in 10 years, and now it's even more expensive to haul and to construct the landfill. And so the additional language was something along the lines of the corporate guarantee is also going to guarantee the difference in the cost if we do have to pull that escrow or that permit out of escrow and construct. So you guys get to decide what you're the policymakers, and you get to decide what level of comfort you have with the risk involved. I will say I do think that the corporate guarantee and the escrow provision are good safeguards. I mean, they're solid. It's better than what you would have now with this agreement where there isn't a corporate guarantee. So, but you guys get to decide what.
So you feel comfortable going ahead today?
And there's risk there, and I get to tell you what the risk is, but you guys get to decide what you're you're going to do with the risk.
Okay. And Mr. Renault, I just wanted, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to say that I appreciate when someone has a different opinion, and my ears are all open to try to learn, you know, what I'm missing, and so that's the reason why I asked. It wasn't. I appreciate it.
For me, the biggest benefit is it would be spelled out and it wouldn't have to be litigated, because anytime you litigate, it's going to cost us more time and money. That if that difference is in there, then it's agreed upon before we even get to the disagreement, if that makes sense.
Can I ask, Scott left, but I'll ask Member Williams, does the city councils, I mean, our legal counsel is obviously satisfied, but the city council, legal counsel satisfied as well, or, I mean, they feel comfortable?
I have not heard on that. Do you know?
The city's not going to take this up until we are voting on the concept, the bullet points that we've come to an agreement on. The city is not going to take up this vote this evening, is when council meets. They'll take it up presumably in 2 weeks when there's a more concrete document, is what they've told me. But they haven't specifically commented on that provision, other than we've certainly all discussed it, and I think that there's a comfort level with that specific provision, but I don't know since they haven't voted on it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chairman Renault.
Oh, yes, Member Daley.
I just wanted to say I too really appreciate the work on this, but I share your concern. There's just something I don't know. It just seems like something of a risk. In the beginning, I wanted to say we needed to go forward with this as they had agreed. So I agree with your concern. I cannot support this.
Okay, thank you, Member Daley. Any other questions or comments?
What would it take to add the amendment in? So what you're saying here, would that be
it was in our version, and then when it was returned to us from review from GFL, it was removed. So it would have to be an agreement or a rewrite of it, just something that captures what my uneasiness is with it.
So GFL had it removed, or?
Correct.
Okay. This is getting more complex every minute here.
It is, and if there's no triggering event, it would never be acted upon. So really, there's no harm, no foul. It's just in there to protect us in the event, and again, to lower our risk in delaying the build of this. Sure, yes.
I'll also add, so if you all don't agree to the transfer station proposal, either in its current form or some form, what Member Williams mentioned about the EPA is at least not at this time ready to unpause the permit to construct landfill 3. There still has to be an interim proposal, what we in the working group have called the interim proposal. We've got the transfer station proposal, which is what you're looking at now. You've got the interim proposal. There are incentives and good things to the county in the transfer station proposal that are not going to be in the interim proposal. So I will just say that it's not a zero-sum game of if we say no to this, we still aren't constructing a landfill 3. So you're still going to have to work on an interim proposal and negotiate points. And so far, there are more incentives in this one than in the what we called interim proposal. So,
Yes, thank you for that. And I'm not throwing out the entire agreement at all. I think some really good work has been done, and there are some good incentives. I'm just not completely comfortable with the version, the iteration that is in front of us now. Yes, Member Blair.
This is a question for Jenny. If we were to vote yes today, and then City Council asked for a bunch of changes and got them, does it come back to us then to approve again?
Yeah, it has
in
to.
theory, yes. Yeah, that's the other thing that makes it cumbersome. All the committee, city, and county. But that's why we've had the working group. That in theory, this right now in its current state is likely to pass through the other bodies as well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Is it Linda, nay? Okay. Okay, well, it passes. She voted nay. Yes. Okay, public comment. And miscellaneous. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.